They have been called Pakistan's forgotten flood victims. 3 months after the flooding that covered 1/5 of the country, residents of the southern province of Sindh are still in desperate need of aid. Tsuji is preparing its first distribution, which will take place on Wednesday morning. The aid will be given out to an estimated 6,800 families in Sujawal of Sindh province in southern Pakistan. Before the big day, volunteers handed out distribution coupons and visited victims and the local authorities to make preparations.
Her hut washed away, Vikio and her 4 children are forced to sleep outside, taking turns on a beaten-up bed. For lunch, Vikio takes out half a pot of uneaten rice.
Today's rice is all gone and we don't have any for tomorrow.
Here in Sujawal, Pakistan, half the homes are gone and farm fields lie in ruins. Volunteers hand out vouchers to be exchanged for aid at the distribution on Wednesday. Meanwhile, residents line up outside the local aid coordination center.
I only got 1 mattress. I didn't get other aid like rice, water or food.
The Tsuji team hopes families will receive 15 kilos of instant rice and 4 blankets each from the 10 containers of aid from Taiwan. Volunteers are working together with a local aid coordinator.
I express my gratitude on the behalf of the government, on the behalf of the people of the area and in the behalf of the district, you see, for Tsuji Foundation for helping us in this critical time.
With the help of local volunteers, we went to rural areas. We want to avoid giving aid to people who overlap with other NGOs.
Vouchers in hand, disaster victim Aftub is smiling at last.
Tsuji Foundation is very good and thankfully.
We rarely see them smile, but when they break into a bright smile, it makes it all worthwhile. Walking this path is the right way to go, and we have to keep on.
As well as saving lives, the Tsuji relief team is building hope for the future and giving flood victims something to smile about.
The UN has called for urgent additional resources for the flood relief effort in Pakistan. Millions of people without enough food, water, shelter and warm clothing are at risk as winter closes in. As we went to air, Tsuji volunteers in Sindh province in the badly affected south of the country were handing out aid to some of the most needy victims. The aid includes some 100 tons of rice and 27,000 blankets dispatched from Taiwan. A total of around 6,800 households were to receive 15 kilograms of instant rice and 4 blankets for each family. The distribution site was at a sugar factory in Sujawal in the Tata district of Sindh province. The 8-member Tsuji team from Taiwan were helped by local volunteers paid under a work for relief program, as well as recently trained students and local businessmen. Security was supplied by the police. Before the distribution began, we caught up with the team as they were busy preparing to deliver the vital aid.
With local police standing guard, the Tsuji disaster survey team is heading from the city of Karachi to the local Sindh province town of Sujawal. The team has also brought 8,000 letters written by Master Zheng Yan, communicating her hope and compassion for these suffering people. The love and blessings are echoing in the spirits of the people here. These 4 University of Karachi students and 1 professional have come with the team to help with the work. Once at the appointed distribution site, a local sugar factory, the team starts arranging for the big day.
1, 2, 3.
Even the local police help out, as well as some of the locals who set up a large banner that reads Taiwan Tsuji Foundation, Pakistan Flood Relief.
Responsibility to provide you help as much as we can for the poor and hungry people.
The distribution site is quite spacious and will be serving some 6,800 families here. In other words, tens of thousands of individuals will be receiving the aid.
Today, we need to use everything we've ever learned to set up in such a way to ensure a glitch-free aid distribution tomorrow. So it's what the Master has told us it should be, to allow these suffering people to receive the relief as quickly as possible so they may happily return to their homes.
Local government and businesses have been helping Tsuji meet this goal. Anis is a successful clothing factory owner from Karachi, and in Tsuji's relief team he has seen, for the last 10 days, a group of dedicated, work-weary people. He was so moved he donated 200,000 rupees, making him the first Pakistani contributor to Tsuji.
That if somebody wants to help poor people, needy people, helpless people, how they have to organize Tsuji.
We are direct, we are focused, and we are respectful. Once he understood this, he knew whatever money he gave, Tzu Chi would be used well.
Though thousands of kilometers apart, through this disaster, Taiwan and Pakistan have been brought together as of families under the same roof, sharing these trials with selfless love and a blossoming understanding. Back to today, Tzu Chi's Pakistan Disaster Relief Team carried out its first major aid distribution in Sujawo in Sindh Province on the morning of November 3rd. 103 tons of instant rice and 20,000 blankets were respectively handed out to flood victims. Each household received 15 kilos of rice and 4 blankets. The aid relief was made possible thanks to over 20 students from Karachi University who came to volunteer and around 70 local residents who were employed under a relief for work program.
Not long after 3 o'clock in the morning, the Tzu Chi Disaster Relief Team sets out from Karachi to Sujawo. In the early gloom, the convoy reaches the distribution site and volunteers unload the trucks. Some 20 students from Karachi University put on volunteer vest and get to work.
We are very happy to help our pupils, and we are thankful to Taiwanese pupils.
Another 70 or more residents employed in the Tzu Chi's Relief for Work program help shift the supplies. As they file into the distribution site, the smiling flood victims are given warm handshakes and hugs. Inside, there is a heartwarming letter from Master Zheng Yan.
There are a lot of hungry people here. Tzu Chi coming to help us makes me very happy.
The villagers quietly wait for the distribution to begin.
When Master Zheng Yan heard there were so many suffering and disaster-stricken people in Pakistan, we rushed to respond.
The name Tzu Chi may be new to the people of Pakistan, but today it is synonymous with hope. Volunteers hand out instant rice and blankets to help the people of Sujawo get through the winter.
When I saw all the rice and blankets, I was very happy.
Chinese-speaking Pakistani volunteer Asif Saeed's eyes well up with joy at the end of 10 days of service for Tzu Chi.
I have a very happy feeling. I feel very good after helping for so many days with Tzu Chi.
The arrival of aid from Taiwan has been supported by local officials and business people, who hope Tzu Chi's distribution will spark new hope for the flood victims of Pakistan.
After almost 2 weeks in Pakistan, including a major aid distribution for some 6,800 families in Sindh Province, the Tzu Chi Flood Relief Team are back in Taiwan. On the day of their departure from Pakistan on Thursday, the Tzu Chi aid workers had a very busy schedule, taking a look at sample homes for flood survivors, meeting with Tatar district officials, and visiting students who have resumed class in tent schools. 40 Pakistani students crammed into a tent, measuring no larger than 10 square meters, for their classes at this tent school in Sujawo in Sindh Province.
Our school was damaged beyond repair in the flood. For the time being, we have resumed classes in tents.
The Tzu Chi aid workers have come to check on the affected children, bringing with them a little token of support for the keen learners.
This is a gift for the children from the Taiwan Tzu Chi Foundation.
These children are thrilled to be given the candies, a rare treat in their Spartan diet. The Taiwanese aid workers then moved on to the next stop on their itinerary, the sample homes for flood victims, to take down some measurements. Measuring around 16 square meters each, these simple concrete houses are in great demand, where most of the flood victims are still staying in tents and straw shacks.
The roof of our shack leaks. These houses are better.
An American charity organization is planning to build 50 of these houses, each costing around $1,400 for those displaced by the flooding in Sujawo.
We want to get an understanding of the quality of the houses that other NGOs are building here, and use that information as a reference for the future, should Tzu Chi also initiate a housing project here in Pakistan.
Moving on, Tzu Chi volunteers stop by a lake to get a sample of the water that has been filtered by a water purification unit donated by Germany.
We do assessments like these, for instance, to test the water purifier, so we can get an idea of the type of equipment we need.
Having just completed a large-scale aid relief the day before, the Tzu Chi disaster relief team is not letting their weariness hold them back. The aid workers also meet with officials in Tatar before they're packed up to return to Taiwan.
Provincial government or
Tzu Chi made sure that all the supplies were delivered directly to the most needy victims. It's fantastic. I'm very moved.
Tzu Chi's love has travelled across the sea and blossomed in Pakistan, bringing hope to the masses of flood sufferers, all desperately working to begin their recovery.